Good evening, everybody. I called the Committee of the Whole meeting to order, starting with the acknowledgement of treaties of peace and friendship. We would like to begin to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which the Maliseet, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with the surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Maliseet title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Now we'll go to 1.2. We'll reaffirm the oath of office. We do hereby accept the office of council and will diligently and faithfully and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties of the office as may be imposed upon us by law. And before we adopt the agenda, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I do have a little switcheroo that we're going to do here. There's one item for a, the discussion and directive on the airport contribution. We're going to remove that off of the item. We'll readdress this with council down the road. There is a little bit of work that needs to be done on this with the Service Commission. So when we get a bit more information, we'll reach back out to council on that. We're going to replace that item just with information regarding regional transportation and a consulting service proposal that we've received from the Service Commission.
Thank you. So we'll move the item number 72, that the agenda be adopted as amended with changes. So I'll have a motion.
I'll move.
Seconder?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Motion carried. No statements of conflict of interest? No. No presentations, petitions, or delegations. Move on to number 5, business, 5.1, procedural bylaw review. I hand it over to Landon.
Sure. Yeah. I think for this item, so there's been some iterations already of the procedural bylaw submitted. I don't know exactly how council wants to manage this process right now, whether or not we're going to block off some time and actually go through the process, or if we're just looking, Mr. Mayor, at this point to establish how it is that council wants to set up to do it, so that, you know, we could either, as it was presented to us with Jacques Dubé, this is a good format to do it. It's a public setting, and if council wanted to, we could certainly delve into it right now and block off a certain amount of time. Alternatively, if we wanted to set up a meeting specifically for that item, so that council can be present. And alternatively, there was actually a mention a few weeks back of possibly setting up a committee that would be a little bit more flexible if there was members of council that were interested in doing that. So I'm not exactly sure how you want to handle that right now, Mr. Mayor, if this is something that council wants to get into right away and start reviewing, or if you're just trying to set up the process on it. I think that right now we're open. We can do whatever council chooses.
Any feedback from council? What is the desire of council on item 5.1?
I think, Mr. Mayor, it's quite lengthy, if I understand, so maybe we should allocate a meeting for that, full concentration just to that. Just a thought.
Sounds good to me. Anybody else?
I also agree with that.
So if that's the preference that council wants to do, then maybe what we'll do is we'll just issue a directive to staff to go ahead and arrange for a meeting. We'll put it out to council, find out when everyone's available, and block off a time that's going to be specific to that bylaw review. From my perspective, just so council's aware, I'd like to do that sooner than later. It's not something I would really, I think that we're heading down the right direction with our bylaws. It's sorely needed in Beldoon, so I really want to strike when the iron's hot. So if that's okay with council, we'll take that and we'll set something up, I would think, in the next probably week or so.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. So we'll move on to section 6, presentations or from council, starting with Councillor Burke, 6.2. Thanks.
I'd hoped to receive an email from Vitale. Based on the previous council, I was a contact point with Chantal Bernard that I was communicating with her back and forth on what we were looking at and which direction our council wanted to take the Jacket River Clinic in. And I did speak to her. I called her and asked her what was happening and what was going on at this point. And the response I got was that she is at this time discussing with the directors of Vitale what the future direction will be of our clinic. I was hoping to have a response from her for this evening, but I have not received it. Once I do, I will make sure that council has a copy of that response, but with that said, it comes down to that I would highly suggest that we either invite Chantal to do a presentation at either our committee of the whole meeting or a public meeting to discuss what is happening at our clinic, where it's going, and what direction we're going in. So at this stage, I hope prior to the next committee of the whole meeting that I have a response from Chantal to pass on to council. But if not, I would ask maybe that we invite her to do a presentation to council either at the committee of the whole meeting or at the next public meeting. That's where I stand on that issue at this moment in time. But, council has had various conversations on where we need to go. We're working towards, we at one time had 2 nurse practitioners there, which is what generated the conversation. I don't know if that's good news or bad news why Chantal did not respond, but at the end of the day, I don't want to offer excuses for her or whatever. What I want to say is I am waiting her response, and she assured me that she would reply as soon as the directors have given her a direction. And I am assuring council that as soon as I receive that, I will forward copies of that response to you all. But in the meantime, if I haven't received a response, let's say, I'm going to say 10 days prior to the next committee of the whole meeting, that we send out an invitation to Chantal to come and do a presentation publicly, and that way council as well as the public will be aware of what's happening on that issue. So council is okay with that? I'll move on.
Thanks.
The next item I have on there is has to do with the fire department and the fire marshal. Jamie Innes is a highly knowledgeable firefighter who does a lot of training and a lot of things for a lot of municipalities in northern New Brunswick, and does an outstanding job in what he does. I believe our fire department is probably our biggest liability in the village. So again, what I would like to do is have Jamie Innes come in and do a presentation to council that that will bring them up to speed where our fire department is, what they've been up to, and I would suggest that that meeting at this point be between council and the fire marshal. And I say it that way because we want him to be able to speak freely. And at the end of the day, The fire department is we have EMO meetings on a quarterly basis with the fire department and with the chief and the deputy chiefs. But with that said, we need to hear where our fire department is from the provincial perspective. And I would like to be able to say that Jamie can come in here and speak freely and give council a direction, advice, and recommendations as to exactly where we need to go and what needs to be done. I know it's an extremely sensitive issue, but with that said, again, the fire department is our biggest responsibility and our biggest liability. And, that is why with new councilors, it comes down to that we need to hear exactly where we're at, exactly what needs to be done, so that when we do have our EMO meeting, and I have no problem inviting Jamie to the EMO meetings when the chiefs and the deputy chiefs are here. But with that said, we need to know what we need to do to make sure that our fire department is ready, able, willing, and has our liabilities covered. So again, I would ask that maybe we ask Jamie Innes for a schedule of when he could come before council, have a meeting and bring him in and have a discussion with him on that issue and prior to the next EMO meeting. And if there's no objection with that, I would ask the CAO to maybe to make that happen.
Yeah, for me, I would also like to see preceding that meeting, some sort of public presentation on the current status of our fire department, just so that the public is aware and that we have full transparency on where we need to be and where we are now. So.
Yeah.
So just to kind of build on both of those statements, I have been talking to the fire chief, and he is going to request, because there has not been a quarterly meeting in a little while. They have been waiting for the new council to come into place. So you're probably going to receive a request for July the 28th. For a meeting for the quarterly EMO meeting with the fire department. So that sort of helps us, Councillor Burke, to say that we would like for Jamie to be in before that time frame.
Yep.
And perhaps, Mr. Mayor, at that meeting, I could let the fire chief know that, if there's a presentation that council is looking for, maybe we can, the fire committee and EMO are open to the public. They're posted out, the notices, so it is a public session that people can attend, so maybe we can do that as well.
Thank you. The last item that I have on my agenda, it comes down to a discussion that we have had about the Village of Beldoon joining the Francophone Association. I understand it becomes a very sensitive issue in the sense that I don't know who speaks French on council, but I think I'm down to maybe Don and I. So it comes down to that the Francophone Association is highly involved in presentations and grants and things in municipalities that UMNB is not involved in. There are many of the municipalities in northern New Brunswick that are members of both associations. Dalhousie, Bathurst, Campbellton are all members of the UMNB as well as the Francophone Association. Where I believe that this becomes sensitive to Beldoon is that the development that is going on at the Port of Beldoon has a lot to do with provincial and federal jurisdiction. And, when you look at Beldoon is not at the table in a lot of these issues, we have Bathurst, Bell Bay, Heron Bay speaking for Beldoon because we're not there. And I believe it is something that would be a positive step forward. And as I had mentioned in the presentation that I sent to council for placing this on the agenda, that, that the director of the Francophone Association would be more than happy to come and do a public presentation for the council and the public to advise us what the advantages are of belonging to the association. So again, I would recommend that our CAO contact the director and ask for a public presentation at either our next committee of the whole or a public meeting, or whenever one can be scheduled.
Yeah, so we'll proceed with reaching out to them, and, yeah, thank you. Go down to 6.3, no presentations by Councillor Carrier. Next presentation is by Councillor Cormier, 6.4, orientation and training reports.
I just wanted to review some of the sessions that were attended, not only by myself, but my fellow council members, as well as some staff, just to give an idea of some of the things that we have learned during these trainings and orientations. I attended the following orientations and training sessions in June. It was the local government orientation kickoff in St. John, June 12th and 13th, UMMB regional and training meeting, June 18th in Dalhousie, along with Councillor Robinson. The Baldoon in-house orientation, June 20th, with Jacques Duby, which was all of council and staff, and a UMMB virtual on June 23rd, with respect to respect and action, a path forward to address harassment and intimidation. The June 12-13 orientation in St. John, the presentation in St. John were on the following subjects from a legislative standpoint: local government roles and responsibilities, local government finance, code of conduct and conflict of interest, local government meeting procedures, rights to information and protection of privacy act, and the regional service commissions and collaboration. I thought the orientation was excellent. It was super clear and easy to understand. It backed up what I already know, but it also really shed light on the challenges in Baldoon and showed us exactly where we need to improve internally to better serve the community. On June 18th, the UMMB regional meeting that was held in Dalhousie, the executive provided an organizational overview highlighting membership benefits and updating attendees on the active files. Additionally, consultant Chris McPherson, former CEO of Fredericton, delivered a practical presentation on local governance roles and responsibilities, offering strategies for council and administration to collaborate effectively and build cohesive municipal operations. On June 20th, we had our in-house with Jacques Duby, and he addressed the following topics with Baldoon Council members and administrative staff: civility and local government, Baldoon Council CAO relations, Baldoon Council meeting procedures, Baldoon Council staff relation, Baldoon local government legislation, and Baldoon, we did a mock council meeting. Respect was the overlying theme of all the presentations, both internally and externally. It permitted council members and staff present to reflect and discuss Baldoon's experiences and where changes are necessary, and how we may address the issues that need to be improved upon to foster respect, civility, and improvement in operations, both from a governance and administrative perspective. On June 23rd, I participated in a UMMB virtual Respect and Action, a strategy to address harassment and intimidation in local government. It was based on a 2026 report. The virtual session examined a comprehensive strategy and 46 recommendations outlined in the final report. The document generates findings from the November 14th, 15th, 2025 symposium on harassment and intimidation, which was held in Fredericton. There was nearly 30 stakeholder interviews and a jurisdictional scan of current legislation and what we hear report. The resulting 46 recommendations assign clear, actionable responsibilities across provincial government, local government, and New Brunswick associations. It has been a busy, highly informative month. The insights gained will give our council the tools we need to improve local governance in Baldoon. We are building a stronger organization that will inspire future generations to step up and serve our community.
Thank you, Councillor Cormier. I really enjoyed the orientation sessions in St. John as well. They're really informative. Any comments from council on those sessions? We'll proceed with no presentations by Councillor Hickey. Was there a presentation for Flexco from Councillor? Okay. Okay.
Yes, I think that this one is for information purposes. Deputy Mayor Robinson, if you want to chime in on any of the information that you have, for sure, you can contribute whatever you have there. We do have a service proposal. It's more, I believe that the Shallur Service Regional Service Commission just wanted for council to be aware that there is a feasibility study that's being done on regional transportation right now. My understanding is that the cost of the study is going to be covered by the Regional Service Commission. So there's not going to be any fees at this time that I'm aware of that's going to fall to Beldoon. But they did want for Beldoon to be aware of that the study would be happening. I know that with previous conversations around this, the regional transportation was one of the mandates with the Service Commission that really could benefit Beldoon if it was utilized in the right way. It is associated to Flexco, and they've had from what I understand, a very successful kind of pilot run out of Bathurst. So it would be looking at expanding that services up to Beldoon. So at this time, I believe it's just an information to council. There isn't anything that, monetary that we need to contribute. It might result in a regional transportation increase in contribution down the road, but council will be fully informed on that by the Service Commission when we get to that point. Madam Deputy Mayor, I don't know if there's anything that you'd like to add on that.
No, just Justin was hoping to get council's feedback, just if you are interested in continuing with the feasibility study, if it's, the numbers would be available for our next budget meeting. So she's trying to get the ball rolling on that. Bathurst has had huge success with Flexco. They've had to add additional buses. They've just purchased or leased a bus to meet demand, to meet demand there. So the study will show what types of services can be offered in Beldoon and Bell Bay to extend that line to cover more of the region.
I'm definitely in support of the continuing on with the study. Yeah, definitely. So the next item on our list is number 8, closed session. There's no closed session. So move to number 9, adjournment, item number 7.3, and I need a mover.
I move that the meeting be adjourned at 7:23.
Second?
I'll second it.
Are we not discussing the airport, the issue? No? Okay.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.